Hi, welcome to Session 7, the bonus workshop. We covered some great things this time. Let's see what we looked at this session. We looked at half steps and whole steps. We learned the notes on the sixth string. We already did know the ones down here, but we went all over the neck. We learned our six-string bar chords, and we learned about major scales. Now, the most important skills for you to learn in this session are understanding the concept musically of half steps and whole steps. Also, I need you to learn the ability to move around on the sixth string to find that pivot point. Also, I need you to memorize the 5 six-string bar chord forms that we learned, and we're going to understand how major scales are built. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we want to cover is half steps and whole steps. There are 3 things we need to remember about half steps and whole steps. Here they are. A half step is the distance from any note to the very next note. What do I mean by that? Well, if it's on music notation, it's right to the very next note up. We'll talk more about that in a second. On guitar, it's 1 fret's worth. Like an E to an F, that's a half step. B to a C, that's a half step as well. A whole step is 2 half steps put together. So let's see what whole steps are on guitar. We have an F to a G. That would be a whole step because that's 2 half steps. Here's 1 half step, and there's the other half step. So an F to a G is a whole step. Let's see, what about a C to a D? That's a whole step as well. C, and there's 1 note in between. We have D. C to D is a whole step. So we have half steps and we have whole steps. The third thing that's important in all that is the only naturally occurring half steps are between E and F and B and C. That's so important, let me explain it to you again. The only naturally occurring half steps are between E and F and B and C. What do I mean by naturally occurring? That means we're not talking about sharps or flats yet. So we haven't introduced that into the equation. Naturally occurring, no sharps or flats. The only ones that are a half step is B to C and E to F. Very important concept. B to C, E to F. Everything else, G to A to B, those are all whole steps. C to D, whole steps. The only ones that are half steps are what? E to F and B to C. Okay, so let's get some practice with these half and whole steps. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of intervals. I want you to try and think about it and tell me whether they're whole steps or half steps. An F to a G. Okay, that's a whole step. Okay, the only thing you really need to be listening for is if I say an E to an F or a B to a C. Those are half steps. Everything else is going to be a whole step. Okay, what about the next one? C to D. What is that one? That's a whole step. That's not our 2 exceptions to the rule. E to F, number 3. That one is one of our exceptions, and that's a half step. So an E to an F is a half step. Okay. Now let's add in the sharps and flats and see how this adjusts a little bit. Okay. What about an F sharp to a G? Let's think about that. What would that be? Well, an F to a G is a whole step, but we're not at F. We're at 1 up from F, an F sharp to a G. Well, that's only a half step now. What about another one? Let's do a B flat to a C. Well, here's a B flat, and here's a C. Normally, a B to a C would be a half step, but now I've pushed that B farther away from that C, and now it's a whole step away. So a B flat to a C is a whole step. Let's do one more. What about a D flat to an E flat? Well, a D to an E is a whole step. So if I flat them both, a D flat to an E flat is also a whole step. Okay? Whole steps, half steps. Now let's talk about the notes that we learned on the 6th string, all the way up the 6th string, all the way up the neck. Okay? You do it with me. We have open E. Then we have first finger, first fret, F. 3rd fret, G. We already know those. Now we're going to keep going up. The next one would be an A, and G to an A is a whole step. A to a B is a whole step. Now we need to go to a C. B to a C, there's one of our half steps. Remember, between E to F and B to C. So there's C. Then with D, that's a whole step up. And D to E is the last whole step, and we end up at the magical 12th fret. Okay? The 12th fret is the exact halfway point on your guitar. Everything starts repeating after that. Here's an E, here's an F, just like there's an F. Here's a G, just like there's a G. Here's an A. It all starts repeating after the 12th fret. So the ones that we need to focus on right now are on between the 1st fret and the 12th fret. Okay? Let's do that one more time. E, you do it with me. F, G, A, 7th fret B, 8th fret C, 10th fret D, and the 12th fret E. Let's go back down. E, D, C, B, that's that half step, A, G, F, E. Okay, we're going to go up and down one more time. You do it with me. Let's say and play the notes as we do them. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Let's go back down. D, C, B, A, G, F, and E. Okay? Now, let's jump around a little bit. We're going to go on different notes. I'm going to just shout out a note and we're going to go jump around on the neck. You see if you can find me. Okay? We're going to do a G first. What about a C? What about an F? Where would an F be? Okay, let's add some flats in it. What about a B flat? Well, think it up. F, G, A, B, flat. There's where B flat would be. What about an E flat? Well, here's an E, but I can't get any lower than that, so if I can't go low, I've got to go high. There's E, E flat. What about a G sharp? G sharp. What about a C sharp? Well, let's count it up. E, F, G, A, B, C, C sharp. What about an F sharp? One up from F. What about a B? E. What about that one? Well, let's go up here. We can either open or here at the 12th fret. What about A? 5th fret. D. 10th fret, and then we're back down to G, the 3rd fret. Okay? Now, let's talk about the 6-string bar chords that we've learned. First one, the mother of all bar chords, is an F. 6th string, uses all 6 strings. It's an F. Okay? Let's talk about bars. The key to bars is your first finger, having it straight. You want your first finger straight and as strong as can be. You're going to want to bring that wrist up. Don't do that. Bring that first finger down, almost even coming back onto the fretboard a little bit. I gave you some exercises in the earlier part of the session where we went over the 3 strings and 4 strings and 5 strings. We won't go through that now. Let's just go through the forms. Here's an F. I play it all together. One more time, F. All together. Now let's do an F minor. Take that second finger off. We're left with that. F minor. What's next? An F7. Let's put our second finger back down. Put our third finger here. We take our pinky off. Individual notes. And all together. F minor 7. So now I take my second finger and my pinky off. The only thing I have left on is my third finger. And then the last one is an F suspended. Put my pinky back down on the third string. Now it's going to take a while for your fingers and your wrist and your hand to get strong enough to be able to play these chords. So don't get discouraged if the first time you play it, it sounds like that. And you may think, oh my goodness, I can't play bar chords. There's just some people that can play bar chords. I must not be one of those people because I can't play bar chords. Listen how it sounds. No. It has to do with hand strength, which that develops over time. The only difference between this and this is pressure that I've put on the neck. I didn't move my fingers in the least. Okay, let's get some practice on these. We're going to be working through the bonus workshop exercises for session 7. Once again, these and all kinds of other resources are available to you online at learnandmasterguitar.com/resources. Okay, so let's take a look at the 6-string bar chords bonus exercises. We're going to start with number 1. And we're going to use bar chords on all of these. Some of these will have G, A minor, things that we would normally use open chords for. I want you to use bar chords on all of these. Remember how we pivot these? Let's look at that first one, number 1. We have F, and then we have F sharp. Well, here's our pivot point right here. All I have to do is move him to an F sharp, form the chord there, and I have an F sharp chord. G is next. This is my pivot note. On your chord diagrams, you have a diamond. That diamond is telling you important information. That's the note that you're pivoting off of. All these are going off of the 6th string. Okay, so let's do number 1. Here we go. Number 1. 1, 2, F, ready, go. Keep that wrist down. Rest. 2, everything moves up a half step. Go, F sharp. These are going to be a little bit tough for you if you haven't gotten the muscles developed yet. G. Back down to F. Let's go ahead and repeat it. F and ready, go. Shift up to F sharp, 2, ready, go. Plant them all again. There you go. Up to G, 2. We slide them up one more half step. Go, G. Now, actually, your finger's angled slightly. The ridges on my finger are really in this half of my finger. It's not really dead center. It's off to the side a little bit, so you are angled a little bit. Let's do number 2. Work on those minor forms. 1, 2, F minor, ready, go. Then we shift up to G minor, so that's the 3rd fret, go. A minor, up at the 5th fret, we shift everything up 2 frets. Let's go back down, repeat it, F minor, way down at the bottom again, 1st fret, ready, go. G minor, 3rd fret, ready, go. A minor, 2, 3, 4. Your hand may be getting a little fatigued at this point. Just rest. You'll find that with each passing day, you'll be able to do these for longer periods of time. Number 3, 2, G7, starts on the 3rd fret, ready, go. 7th form, take that pinky off. Up to B flat. Think where that B flat's at. Here's a B flat. Now go. C sharp. Well, here's a C. So there's a C sharp. Play. Let's do number 4. Now we're slowly getting more complex with these rhythms. 1 and 2 and back to F, down, up, rest. Rest. Give you a chance to get to that G minor at the 3rd fret. Ready, go. Rest. When you want to stop the sound, just let that hand come up off the fretboard a little bit. C7. Rest. Rest. 1, 2. Let's take a look at number 5. Look at that rhythm. Down, down, up. Okay? This time we're going between an A flat and an A flat suspended with our pinky. Okay, here we go. Number 5, 2, ready, go. Down, down, up. Keep your hand going. A flat sus. Back to A flat, go. A flat sus, go. Very good. Number 6. 1, 2. Look at that rhythm. Ready, go. Back to A. F sharp suspended. F sharp 7th. Let's repeat that one. Back up to B minor 7th. A, go. F sharp sus. F sharp 7. Good. Okay, take a break a little bit. Maybe we'll do our finger exercise. Everybody put your fingers together like that. Just going to stretch those fingers out a little bit. Okay, you're not trying to break your fingers. You're just trying to stretch them out a little bit. Okay, let's move on to the next exercise. This is the more 6-string bar chords bonus exercises. We're going to start with number 1. The rhythms just get a little bit more complex here. 1 starts on that F, down, down, up, up, down. This is our strumming pattern number 1 from last session. Here we go. Number 1, 2, ready, go. Now shift up to B flat. Where's that B flat at? F, G, A, B, B flat. And C sus. C7. Okay, number 2. 1, 2. That one's in B flat. Look at that rhythm. Down, up, down, up, up, down. Number 2. 1, 2. Number 2, and go. G minor 7th. Shift down. C minor 7th. I'll give you a little extra time to get to that C minor 7th. The 8th fret. F7. Let's do that one again. Number 2, 2, ready, go. B flat. Number 3, our strumming pattern number 3. Okay, down, up, 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 down. Here we go. F minor, 2, ready, go. Down, up, 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 down. Then to B flat minor, up here at the 6th fret. Up, 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 down. Back down to F minor. This time is an F minor 7th. Take that pinky off. Down, up, 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 down. C7th, all the way up here to C7th. I know that's a lot of jumping around, but at this stage I want to get you familiar with the 6th string and the 6th fret, or 6th string, and jumping around on these chords. Okay, let's do that again. Number 3, a little bit faster. 1 and 2 and number 3, ready, go. B B flat minor, F minor 7, C7. Number 4 is in 3/4 time. Starts on that G, down, down, up, down. Here we go. Ready? Go. G, down, down, up, down, then A minor, 3 A minors. Back down to G, down, down, up, down, 3 Fs. G, down, up, down, 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 up, down. Number 5. 1, 2, and oh, look at that rhythm. That one's a little bit different. We haven't come across this one before. Look at it. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Here we go. Number 5, 2, ready, go. Down, down, up, down, up. Let's just do that rhythm a little bit. Ready, go. A, down, down, up, down, up. Good. F sharp minor 7th. Same rhythm. Go. Down, down, up, down, up. B minor 7th. A. Let's do that one more time. Number 5. Ready, go. Look at number 6. The rhythms really get crazy. Down, up, down. Next measure. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. We'll go super slow on that one. B7th. Ready, go. Down, up, down. Keep your hand going. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Keep your hand going down. Let's repeat that. B7. F sharp suspended. Great. Okay. Now we get to the fun one. Let's get to the even more 6-string bar chords bonus exercises. This is the fun stuff. On these you can mix open chords with bar chords. Let's look at this even more 6-string bar chords bonus exercises. Start with number 1. Remember, you can mix bar chords with open chords on this one. It's going to start sounding a little bit more like music. Number 1. 1, 2, ready, go. B flat, down, up, down, open C, open C7, repeat it, F, B flat, open C, C7. How'd you do? Number 2. Okay, mix these with bar chords. Let's see, let's decide which we're going to play. Let's do the D minor, open. Let's do the G7 as a bar chord. C minor, of course, that'll have to be a bar chord. And F7 will be a bar chord. So the only one open we'll do is D minor. 1, and ready, go. 1, G7 bar, up to C minor, F7, do it again, D minor, G7 bar, C minor, F7. Good. Number 3, look at all those eighth notes. Don't get confused. It's not that hard. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Here we go, number 3. Let's do A minor, open. Then we'll do the F and the E. 1, 2, number 3, go. Bar. Do it again. comes that bar. Here we go. Number 4. 3/4 time. 1, 2, and 3. 1. Ready, go. Down, down, up. Open C. G minor 7th. C7, open. Oh my goodness, look at this. Quick C, F, C. Oh, that's going to happen a lot in music, so we need to get used to jumping like that. Do it again, number 4. Ready, go. Quick C. Good. Number 5. Look at that rhythm. Starts on a B flat 7. 1, 2, and go. C minor 7th. A lot of jumping in that one. Number 6. 1, 2, number 6, go. A minor, G minor C7, F, rest, B flat, F. Let's try that one more time. Number 6, ready, go. These are open. G minor, F, rest. Very good. Wow, if you can do all of those, you have really conquered bar chords. You'll not get it the first week. Okay, you're going to get this about around week 3. So you got to keep at it, and these bar chords will open up for you. Okay, it's not just learning how to play an F and an F minor. It's being able to play in any key. That's what these bar chords are about. Now, we talked about a very important music theory concept in this session, major scales. Let's talk about major scales. Major scales are the building blocks for all of music. Okay? Why do you make us learn scales, Mr. Steve? Because everything is built off of scales. Now, whether you're soloing, whether you're building chords, whether you're improvising, it's all built off of knowledge of scales. So let's talk about scales for a second. What are major scales? Major scales are built on a specific pattern of half-step and whole-step intervals. It's a pattern. It's not this nebulous thing. It's like math. It's a pattern. All you have to do is start on any note, plug in the pattern, and it works. What's that pattern? The pattern for a major scale is whole step, half step. Whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. There's 7 pitches. 2 wholes and a half, 3 wholes and a half. Starting on any note, if you follow this pattern, you will build a major scale for that note and for that key. Okay? So let's do a little bit of practice with this. In the session, we looked at a C scale. Let's take a look at that C scale that we looked at. We're going to count it up. From C to D is a whole step. That's our first whole step. D to E, that's our second whole step. Now I need a half step. E to F. Remember, naturally occurring half steps between E and F, B and C. There's our first one, E, F. F to G, whole step. G to A, whole step. A to B, whole step. And the last one is a half step. 2 wholes and a half, 3 wholes and a half. We looked at an F scale and a G scale and a B flat scale earlier in the session, so let's figure out a different one here. Here's a D scale. Now think this through with me. What's the pattern? Whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Starts on a D. We need a whole step up from a D. That's an E. Now I need a whole step up from an E. Well, an E to an F is only a half step, so I've got to push that F farther away, upwards, farther away from that E. So that makes it an F sharp. Okay, now I need a half step, starting from that F sharp. F sharp, a half step up is G. So I've got D, E, F sharp, G. Whole step to A, whole step to B. Now, here's another tricky one. I got to push that C another half step away from that B to get the full whole step. That is C sharp and then D. So a D scale is D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. We'll do another one. E flat. Let's go with some flats now. I need a whole step from an E flat. What's a whole step from an E flat? That would be an F. Because that E to F is a half step. Now the E flat, I've pushed it farther away. That's a whole step. F to G, whole step. Now I need only a half step here. G to A flat. Then a whole step up from an A flat to B flat. Whole step up from a B flat to C. Whole step up from a C, C to D. Then I need one half step up at the top, E flat. Okay, now I have a whole lot of questions that come in on the discussion board about some of the harder scales. So let's just go crazy and figure out the F sharp scale. It's a pattern. What's the pattern? 2 holes and a half, 3 holes and a half. You're starting on an F sharp. So just about everything in this puppy is going to be sharped. Whole step up from an F sharp, G sharp. That's a whole step up. G sharp, I need a whole step up from a G sharp. That would be A sharp. Don't get freaked out that some of these notes you haven't heard with sharps before. There is A sharps in the world. F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. Then a half step up to a B. Now I need a whole step up from a B. Well, that's a C sharp. Whole step up from a C sharp. That's a D sharp. Oh my goodness. What's a whole step up from a D sharp? That would be an E sharp. Wait a minute. E sharp? There is no E sharp, some of you are saying. Well, wait a minute. I can sharp or flat anything. Here's an E. If I sharp it, it would be here. But you're saying that's an F. I know that's an F. An E sharp and an F have the same, or actually the same pitch, but 2 different names. You can do the same thing here. A B sharp, what would a B sharp be? That would be a C. What about a C flat? That would be a B. What about an F flat? Can I have an F flat? Of course you can. I can flat or sharp anything. Here's an F flat. That would be E. Okay? Let's get back to our scale, though. E sharp. So yes, an E sharp is an F, but remember the rule that we talked about. Every note must come in sequential order. So A's go to B's, B's go to C's. It doesn't matter how much I need to alter the note to get it to work out right, to fit the pattern, the notes must come in a sequential order. So if I, like on that example, if I went from a D sharp and went to an F, it's automatically wrong. In theory world, which is kind of where we're in now, a D sharp to an F doesn't compute. It's got to go to the next kind of note, no matter how much I need to sharp it, even if I need to double sharp it or double flat. So the D sharp must go to the E sharp when spelling scales. Okay, here's the last little example. In a G flat scale, you're going to end up with a C flat as its 4th step. Don't panic. I know that a C flat is the same as a B when playing on the instrument, actually on the guitar, but when spelling scales, I have to keep the letters sequential. Okay? There are many other worksheets in the online resources, ways to figure out the scales. I mix them all up on you. Get all the practice that you can on this. Scales are the building blocks of chords, soloing, improvising. They're the alphabet from which you are going to use to make music with. You need to learn it. You need to learn the letters in this alphabet that you're going to be trying to build a solo off of. You need to memorize these 12 scales. And I gave you 2 sessions to do it. We're going to work on these again in the next session. So sometime between the end of next session, you need to have memorized these 12 scales. And I'm sure you're saying, oh my goodness, it's an incredible amount of information. No human could ever know it. Wrong. It's not an unknowable amount of information. Think of it like your multiplication tables. It's going to take some work, but everything else from this point builds on the fact that you know your major scales and can have them ready at a moment's notice. Just last night, I was working with my son on his multiplication tables. Scales are exactly like that. It's just things that you have to know so that you can refer to them quickly. Let's do one song before we go. The Yellow Rose of Texas, one of my favorite songs from my favorite home state. Okay, let's work on the single notes first. Let's try to play this nice and slow. We're going to start off with that first line. Single notes. Remember back to single notes? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. Now I'll leave you to work out the notes on your own. Let's get to the chords. Let's look at these chords for the first line here. Okay, we'll just do one strum per chord at this point. Let's start the C. Ready? Go. First line. 2, 3. Then here comes a quick F. 2, 3, 4. To a G. C. 2, 3, 4 G. Now here comes that second line. Stay on that G. 3, 4 G7. 2, 3, 4. 2 C. Da da da. 2, 3, 4. Quick F. 3 da 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 da. C7. Da. 3. Third line. Down. 2, 3, 4 C. 2, 3, 4 G. 2, 3, 4 C. 2, 3, 4. Now you can add strumming patterns with that as we get into it. Now, for your last encouragement, let me let you know about something. Okay? When we get into things like this with the music theory and the scales, don't tune out to this stuff. A lot of players just tune out to it. Dig into it. Okay? Many people start to tune out when anyone starts talking about learning how music works and a little bit about music theory. Okay? I play guitar all the time. Play guitar for a living. I use theory every time I play. Okay? Knowing a bit of music theory takes a lot of the esotericness out of the music and brings it into the realm of the concrete. I don't have to guess to find what notes sound good on a particular chord. I can figure out which notes are going to work. I encourage you to dig into learning your scales. Yes, it takes work. But by now, you're well into this course. You're ready for, you're serious about your learning. So you're going through all of this to become a better guitar player, to learn more than you knew before. And this is a key to a lot of musical understanding for you, is in these scales. Keep up the great work, and thanks for letting me be a part of your learning process. We'll see you next time. Here are some tips to learning this material that we've covered here in Session 7. Number 1, memorize the chord forms. I know we've talked about this before, but now we have a whole nother batch of chords to learn. We got 5 forms in this session. They all still need to be memorized. When playing any song, chord forms will need to be recalled right off the bat, right instantly. As you play through these exercises, try to refer less and less to the chord blocks. Okay? Begin the process of putting these basic chords to memory. Quiz yourself on the basic chords and the chord forms. Look at the forms to see how they relate to each other in shape. Now that we have these bar chords, they're going to relate to each other in shape as well. Second thing, allow time for your muscles to develop. This is the bar chord section. This is going to take a while. Most people are not going to get this the first, second, and third day. They're going to get this around the third week. Okay? So most people give up way too soon on bar chords, and they just declare themselves that they'll never be able to play bar chords when it was really just a matter of time. Their breakthrough was just about a week or 2 away. So allow time for your muscles to develop. It's a physical thing. We haven't talked about physical things in a while. This bar chords, getting the strength in your first finger, is back to a physical problem that's going to take some time to develop. Start to memorize your scales. That's the next thing. Solve the worksheets in the book. Don't just solve them once. Get them, make copies of them, solve them over and over again until you can know the answer faster than you can write it. For the time being, sit down every time that you practice and figure out the 12 major scales. Oh my goodness, it's like homework. Yes, exactly. You're going to have to know a few things as a guitar player. It's not, we're going beyond G, C, and D, which is what every other guitar player in the world can play. Now we need to learn a little bit about what we're doing, and it takes doing those major scales. I'm telling you, a key to that is sitting down and doing them every chance you get. Do them 3 or 4 times a day. You'll find after a week you've got them. And that's all it takes. At first it will take you 15 minutes or so. Then after a few days you'll be down to 6 or 7 minutes. Eventually you'll be able to fill them up in a matter of minutes. Here's a couple things to watch out for at this stage. Bar chords are buzzy, and they don't sound good. It has to do with time. It's a physical thing. Practice them every day to strengthen your hand. Your hand needs to develop strength and flexibility. These things take a few weeks to come. Bar chords blossom. Give them some time to come together. Second thing, make sure your first finger is straight. Okay? You're going to want to bring that wrist up, curve that thumb over. Don't do that. That's the wrong. You may think you're doing, you kind of fools your brain. You think you're getting more power that way, but you're actually not. Resist the urge to bring your wrist back and your thumb. The answer to getting the strength you need is not up here. It's down here and in the strength of your first finger. Keep up the great work. Okay, for this session, you're ready to move on when all of the bar chord exercises on page 44 of your book can be played smoothly at 72 beats per minute. You're ready to move on when the notes and the chords to 2 songs, Home on the Range and Yellow Rose of Texas, can be played at 84 beats per minute. You're ready to move on when you have completed all the major scale exercises in the book. Also, in the bonus resources, it's a good idea to complete all those as well. When you can do these things at the tempos that I've indicated, then you're ready to go to the next session where we'll be continuing to learn about bar chords and also get into keys and key signatures. I'll see you there.